Hey everyone, welcome back with another session of geography. I hope you all are doing well. So we'll continue the same chapter, that is drainage. Now, in the last session, we have already discussed about the characteristic features of the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. So today we'll start the proceeding with the Himalayan rivers. Now, the major Himalayan rivers are the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. Now, these rivers are long and are joined by many large and important tributaries. Now, a river, along with its tributaries, may be called a river system. Fine. So, let's begin with the Indus River system. Now, if we see, guys, the river Indus rises in Tibet near Lake Mansarovar. Now, flowing west, it enters India in the Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir. It forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Several tributaries such as the Zaskar, the Nubra, the Shire, and the Hunza, they join it in the Kashmir region. Along with it, the Indus flows through the Baltistan and Gilgit and emerges from the mountains at Attock. Now, the Satluj, the Beas, the Ravi, the Chenab, and the Jhelum join together to enter the Indus Methankot in Pakistan. Beyond this, the Indus flows southwards, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea east of Karachi, as you can see in the map. Fine. Now, the Indus Plain has a very gentle slope. With a total length of 2,900 km, the Indus is one of the longest rivers of the world. A little over a third of the Indus basin is located in India in the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Punjab, and the rest is in Pakistan. Fine. Now, as we see here, the Indus Water Treaty. Now, according to the regulations of the Indus Water Treaty 1960, now India can use only 20% of the total water carried by the Indus river system. Now, this water is used for irrigation in Punjab, Haryana, and the southern and the western parts of Rajasthan. So, these are all information about the Indus Water Treaty. Okay. So, it was signed on September 19, 1960 between India, Pakistan, and a representative of World Bank after 8 years of negotiations. Fine. Now, India's right over these rivers limited, can set up certain irrigation, runoff the river power plants, very limited storage, domestic and non-consumptive use, all subject to conditions. And the eastern rivers, that is Satluj, Beas and Ravi, so India's right over these rivers, all exclusive rights lie with India. Okay. Now, India's Waters Commission, this is a success story about us, that once every 5 years conducts a general inspection of all the rivers in parts. Now, total inspection tours done so far, it's around over 100. And regularly, these commission, they meets once a year, and total meeting thus far, including those for taking up Pakistan objection, it's around total meetings has been done, that's also around 100. Fine. So all these things, this Indus Water Treaty, this is one of the most important one that has been done, negotiation among India and Pakistan. All right. Now, next move on to the Ganga river system. Now, Ganga, the headwaters of the Ganga, called the Bhagirathi, is fed by the Gangotri glacier and joined by the Alaknanda and Devaprayag in Uttarakhand. Now, at Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains onto the plains. Now, if you see here, the Ganga is joined by many tributaries from the Himalayas, a few of them being major rivers such as the Yamuna, Ghagra, Gandak, and the Koshi. Now, if you see the river Yamuna, it rises from the Ch.3 glacier in the Himalayas, and it flows parallel to the Ganga, and as a right bank tributary meets the Ganga at Allahabad. Along with that, the Ghagra, Gandak, and the Koshi, they rise in the Nepal Himalayas, as you can see in the map. Now, they are the rivers which flood parts of the northern plains every year, causing widespread damage to life and property. On the other hand, they also enrich the soil for the agricultural use. Fine. Now, the main tributaries here which come from the peninsular uplands, these are the Chambal, Betwa, and the Sun, as you can see in the map. Now, these rise from semi-arid areas, and because of that, they have shorter courses and they do not carry much water in them. Fine. Now, enlarged with the waters from its right and left bank tributaries, the Ganga flows eastwards till Farakka in West Bengal, as you can see in the picture here. Now, this is the northernmost point of the Ganga Delta, and the river Ganga bifurcates here. Now, the Bhagirathi Hooghly, that is a distributary, flows southwards through the deltaic plains to the Bay of Bengal. Fine. And the main stream, it flows southwards into Bangladesh, as you can see in the map here, and is joined by the Brahmaputra. Okay. Now, farther downstream, it is known as Meghna. Now, these mighty river with waters from the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, they flows into the Bay of Bengal. And the delta formed by these rivers, it is known as the Sundarban Delta. Now, if we see about the Sundarban Delta derived its name from the Sundari tree, now which grows well in marshland, that is wetlands. Now, it's the world's largest and fastest growing delta, and it is also the home of Royal Bengal tiger. Alright, this is the thing. Now, if we see, guys, the length of the Ganga is over 2500 kilometers. Fine. Now, here you see Ambala. Ambala is located on the water divide between the Indus and the Ganga river systems. Now, the plains from Ambala to the Sundarban stretch over nearly 1800 kilometers, but the fall in its slope is hardly 300 meters. Now, in other words, if we see, like there is a fall of just 1 meter for every 6 kilometers. Therefore, the river develops large meanders. Fine. These are the facts all about the Ganga river system. Now, next up we have the Namami Gange program. So the Namami Gange program, it's an integrated conservation mission approved as a flagship program by the Union government in the year June 2014. And its main objective was to check the effective abatement of pollution, conservation and rejuvenation of the national river Ganga. Okay, the initiative was taken by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Okay, so these are all the facts about the Namami Gange program. Now, next up we have, that is the Brahmaputra river system. Now, the Brahmaputra rises in Tibet, east of Mansarovar Lake, very close to the sources of the Indus and the Satluj. Okay, so it is slightly longer than the Indus, and most of its course lies outside India, as you can see in the map. So basically, most of the portion it's in Tibet, and when it enters into India, then after a certain point of time, it flows towards Bangladesh. Okay, now it's slightly longer than the Indus, and most of its course lies outside India, just as I said. So it flows eastwards parallel to the Himalayas. Check out here. And on reaching the Namcha Barwa, and the height of it is around 7,757 meter, it takes a U-turn and enters India in Arunachal Pradesh through a gorge. As you can see, as it makes a U-turn while entering into India. Now here it is called the Dihang. As you can see, this is the gorge that I was talking about. So here it is called the Dihang, and it is joined by the Debang, the Lohit, and many other tributaries, and to form the big Brahmaputra in Assam. So the main head tributaries, that is Lohit, Debang, Dihang, all these are the tributaries. Fine, as you can see in the picture. Now, just as we are talking about the Brahmaputra, now in Tibet, this river carries a smaller volume of water and less heat, as it is a cold and a dry area. But as soon as it enters India, it passes through a region of high rainfall. And here, the river carries a large volume of water and considerable amount of silt. Now, the Brahmaputra has a braided channel in its entire length in Assam, and here it forms many riverine islands. And did you remember the name, guys? That is Majuli Island. It's the world's largest river island formed by the Brahmaputra river. Okay, now every year during the rainy season, the river overflows its banks, causing widespread devastation due to floods in Assam and Bangladesh. And unlike other North Indian rivers, the Brahmaputra is also marked by huge deposits of silt on its bed, and it causes the riverbed to rise. Along with all this, the river also shifts its channels frequently. Fine. So that's it. These are all the facts about the three main head Himalayan rivers. Okay, so that's all for today. So until the next time with the Peninsular Rivers. Bye bye.